I completed my second semester placement at Mill Park Secondary College. I was lucky enough to have a mentor that taught two Year 11 psychology classes, and these classes were where I implemented the two ICT tools, Padlet and Quizlet, into one of their lesson plans. The reason I am integrating the two ICT tools into their lesson is because during my first semester placement with these two classes, I saw that many of the students would disengage with some of the activities I had planned. These are things such as worksheets or textbook questions. To make it more engaging this round, I wanted to use Padlet and Quizlet as tools that would get every student involved in the activity. The purpose of the lesson was to increase students' participation and engagement within the class and group discussion, as well as their performance towards activities. The first ICT tool that was integrated into the lesson is called Padlet. This tool is an online space that allows students the opportunity to post their ideas, thoughts, and questions anonymously to create class discussion on a topic. I had noticed during my first semester placement round that when I would start a verbal class discussion, it was the same few students answering the questions, and I wanted to stop this from happening. The and thought Padlet would be a tool that would help me do that. Padlet can be a valuable way to get students who don't regularly participate in normal class discussion to input their ideas on a digital space to get students talking again. It is important that every student is participating and sharing their ideas on a topic to ensure whole class engagement is occurring. Quizlet is the second ICT tool that this is an online quiz tool that allows students to learn and revise content in a fun and engaging way. Students are able to easily download the app and are able to choose from learning mode, tests, flashcards, and matching definitions. By using Quizlet, teachers are also able to see how much students know prior to teaching the topic, as well as how much they have obtained once completing the topic. The teacher, as well as the students, are able to upload content with a range of difficulty levels so students can work at their own pace through the activities provided on Quizlet. This is the lesson that was used when implemented Padlet and Quizlet into the Year 11 psychology class. The first activity that completed was Padlet. This is where I got students to think about the topic we were discussing in the lesson. We then moved on to completing different activities that helped students get an understanding of the content. The last activity to be completed was Quizlet. Because this was the first time most students were using this program, I explained how to log on to Quizlet and let students complete the quiz I had made prior to the class so they could familiarize themselves with the ICT tool. The learning intention for the lesson was students will understand the light perception process, students will be able to identify the different structures of the eye, and students will be able to explain how light enters the eye. Students used Padlet at the start of the lesson. I provided them with an online code that they needed to enter into their device to log into the class Padlet. I asked students to answer the following questions. What is a part of the visual perception process? What are some structures of the eye? And what are parts of the brain associated with sight? I then began to read the different posts on Padlet and began a class discussion on the ideas students had posted. The last activity of the lesson was Quizlet. Students completed the test that I made earlier on today's lesson about the structure of the eye. I then allowed students to make their own Quizlet and content we had learned in the past 2 weeks on sensation and perception. Students made their own tests and flashcards on the tool. Both of the ICT programs, Padlet and Quizlet, implemented a supportive and productive learning environment that promotes inclusion and collaboration. They also support students' participation and engagement. Differentiated learning is used within both of the ICT tools to extend the knowledge and skills of every student in the classroom. These programs also engage individuals to build supportive and stimulating learning environments that allow students to manage their own learning. As I said, the purpose of this lesson was to increase students' participation and engagement within class and group discussion, as well as their performance towards activities. Students made their own test and flashcards on Quizlets based on the content we had been learning. I could then use it as a type of formative assessment to see how much students have learnt from the topic. Students were then able to use their own and other students' Quizlet tests for revision when studying for the SAC. By implementing these two ICT tools in the classroom, students who didn't regularly participate in class activities increased their engagement by using these two tools. Students learned the content by using multimodal resources that help differentiate to all students' learning needs. Students have now learned a new revision tool that they can use when studying for different SACs in either psychology or their other subjects. At the end of the lesson, I handed all the students an exit slip, and students gave their opinion on the ICT tool that they were used, how engaged they were in the lesson, and if they enjoyed the lesson as a whole. Another form of feedback was provided by my mentor on the lesson. The feedback from the students and mentors showed that this lesson was effective in engaging students in classroom activities and also delivering the content students needed to know. Most students agreed that they liked the lesson because they were able to use their devices to learn the content, which made the class more fun and enjoyable. My mentor teacher noted that students really seemed to enjoy the ICT tool activity and that more of this should be implemented into future lessons. However, there were some issues with the lesson. The first being that the online tool Padlet, many students would be posting their ideas on the page, however, students would constantly need to refresh the page to see the posts, which could be annoying for some of the students. The next issue was that not all students brought a device to class, even though I had mentioned it to them the lesson prior. So some students needed to pair up to complete the online task. To ensure an issue like this doesn't occur, booking a computer room or a library with access to computers will prevent this issue from happening again. Overall, I believe this lesson was successful in engaging all students into class discussion and class activities. I have also learned that I need to provide a variety of different activities each lesson to ensure the lesson is differentiated to meet all students' needs.